Realize now.
Awesome, Reek. Thank you, man. Sorry for the mix-up as usual, but it's fine. What's up, lads? Welcome to Shantae, Half Genie Hero, 4th adventure in the Shantae lore series. We'll just say that the pixelated stuff is gone really quick just to give you the opener. We're now in a beautiful color HD environment with cartoonish characters, so we'll go ahead and get this adventure started in 3, 2, 1, go. Sit back, relax, enjoy, and have fun. But first, we're going to start off in our jammies because people don't know how to, or people love sleeping in. So, no big deal, right? We'll just quickly run to wherever we're going without doing our hair or anything like that. Anyway, just to give some backstory on the game, this game is a 100% crowd-funded Kickstarter project for 4Way Forward. They made quite a few incentives with this game, so it's a work in progress. Now, category name starting with what is No-WTTD? That basically stands for No Work Through the Danger, which was a glitch we found in the 1.0, where if you started a new game, it didn't clear your completion flags of stages. So once you bought Warp Dance, you were able to completely warp up to the stages that led up to the boss. So you can pretty much just skip the entire game except for like the one stage out of all the different stages. So you will see Warp Dance used in this route, but it will be done as intended, where we basically will have cleared the stage when it would have triggered the flag for you to be able to warp through it. And that's how we will be getting out of a certain early sequence break that we'll be doing. Any rate, we wake up from this little dream where we find whatever that glowing light was, and now we've got to do a little bit of missioning in order to get what we're looking for. First, we got to track down Bolo, but we don't really care about him. We care about her. She's got what we're looking for. And he can just keep staring. And then we'll go ahead and do Bolo's work for him because that's what we do. Oh, turn off the alarm. That was my wake-up alarm for my run that was supposed to be an hour and 40 later. Oops, sorry. Any rate, alright, we done that, we got all this stuff, we got a magnet. So, what happens when you put a magnet on top of peanut butter cups? Well, pirates attack. Go figure. So, we're gonna have to go take care of that. Because, that's what we do. We bust up pirates. And I will just remain silent for the best song in the entire game for you guys, because why not?
Let's go.
Just kidding, I'm just going to be skipping these Tinkerballs, by the way. These things eat up a lot of time, but if you time your jump just right, you are able to just say, you know what, we're done with you, and move on. And you're probably wondering, hey, why do you whip and jump there? Well, it's just a slight bit of movement tech that moves things. There's an actual definitive pause with Shantae anytime she whips something. And I didn't get the last Tinkerball skip, but that's okay. We're good. So when you do just a little bit of jumping right afterwards, she just moves immediately, skipping the rest of the remainder of the animation. Saves a little bit of time, but it adds up across the course of the run when they're having to do a lot of whips. And I'm really concerned about my gem count right now. You'll notice I am taking some time out to pick up some gems. It's because as a typical Shantae, we do have a shopping route involved in regards to buying certain things in order to make the run a little bit easier and quicker across the board. And for right now, I'm in bad spots, so we will probably have to do a little bit of gem farming at the end of this, but we'll try to avoid it wherever we can. Anyway, so we move on to the town on fire, because, they've been shooting cannonballs at it all day. It's bound to happen. Just gonna skip all of Risky's little minions here because we don't really care. And hope for some gem drops here, which we're not gonna get. And in these blocks, they move on a kind of a global timer. You just have to try not to miss a cycle there because it is costly falling right there. You definitely don't want that to be a thing. I'm just going to take some intentional damage here because I'm looking for additional gems, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a thing. Okay, we're a little bit more secure. I would have ideally liked to have been at 117. I'm going to have to rely on a little bit of talent RNG. But we're going to take on our first boss, the partially organic, partial omni-organic, partially titanic, ocean optional Tinker Slug, or Piptoo. And my whipping is terrible today. But we shouldn't get the 4 cycle, so it doesn't matter. Oops, except that. And I missed the chains, but at least we didn't hit that left. By the way, if you knock a barrel to the left, you lose 16 seconds by default. You do not want to knock a barrel to the left. These chains today are not liking it. Hopefully I still get the 3 cycle here, so... Phew, that was close. So far, so good. Not gonna complain. We got past the first stage, first boss, so we've tracked her down. What actually happened there was the Tinkerbell sold these blueprints. We just tracked her down to get them back. And mission accomplished. So, the opening beatdown of Risky is complete. Now, why these things show up, we're not sure. Apparently someone is leading us on a little bit of a path, so we hop on this pedestal, get warped to this extremely colorful blaze to pick up our first transformation. The cutest monkey ever. You just only got a blink of it. Don't worry, you'll be seeing plenty of the monkey form throughout the run, because it is one, the fastest walking animation, or walking transformation. It's also going to be used because it also gets the fastest movement tech throughout the entire game. So, alright, so we tracked it down, we give our blue pits back to Uncle, and he's like, okay, well, I don't really have anything for you. We've already been fired by the mayor at this point. He's already, like, skipped town because he's looking for a replacement for Shantae. So we're going to go ahead and just come to the end of the street, find this beautiful girl who's dressed up in a nice sarong, and try to help her. Yeah, I got enough gems. Important we buy these pike balls, because if you buy anything else, well, you're going to be farming gems for a long time at the cost of 10 seconds per round, so not good. We take our map over to Sky, whose bird is suddenly monstrously huge, if you didn't see that at the beginning, which you probably didn't. And we get this access to this area, but right now, I know there's people in danger and stuff like that, but we really, really need to sidetrack, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do a revisit here. One thing you'll notice about stages is once you complete them, they have different things going on within the stage. The stage itself is pretty much the same. Just the monsters and what's happening with it change quite a bit. So no 2 trips through these worlds will be exactly the same until you start doing that. But the main thing I'm looking for right now, gems, and more importantly, a transformation afterwards at the end. Plus some farming money for my next upcoming shopping trip, which will be after we do the next stage. So. Tinkerbell RNG was horrible there, nothing I could do. Just take the hit and go. Things of note with these starfish, if they grab onto you, they basically kill Shantae's jumping ability. She's also unable to transform or anything, so you have to jump around as much as you can to shake them off, basically, to be able to do anything. So it's extremely bad whenever you happen to get one of those on you. And you're probably asking, because you've seen it so much of the run, why the heck are you saving? Well, in the PC version, which I'm running right now, saving is the faster option. If you say no, it's menuing time and just kind of waste time. So we just go ahead and mash save on that. In the console versions, that's the opposite case, because it slower to save just because of the way that it processes the game, but on PC version, saving is your best bet. Alright, this was one of the main reasons we came back here was for this, so now we can do these little monkey dashes, which move even faster. And we missed gems back there, which is a common theme in Shantae, unfortunately. We're probably going to miss a few gems throughout the run, and I'm going to wonder why, but we'll make up for it. I think I've got a good safety route to make sure I get everything I need when I need it. But first things first, we're going to beat up on residual Tinkerbats, because that's what we do. We're mad at them still attacking the town, even though we've beaten their leader. For a health permit. Why Tinkerbats are carrying a health permit, I will never know. Try to get up this wall as quickly as possible, it's not always easy. And backtrack just a smidge for the stage, because that health permit gives us access to another great thing. We find the little chef from Risky's Revenge here, and she's still mourning the loss of her dog, Wobble Bell. Basically says that he's gone. Doesn't say dead, even though we know the truth, because we killed that dog for 100 gems. Anyway, so we give her that, she gives us a nice salted caramel because we love sweet treats. And now we'll actually move on with the story as intended. I will wait until the auto-scroller to give just a little bit more insight about the actual speedrun itself in regards to version differences. So we will first visit Mermaid Falls. Oops, did I spill the beans and give spoilers about an auto-scroller? Oops, my bad. I'll talk about those two. I can't seem to do a monkey bullet today. Okay, at least did that one right. Couldn't get around that one though. Cycle's way off though. I've taken a bit too much damage. Okay, at least I didn't fall. It was a little slow at the end there, but at least I didn't fall. Fish. No beat the fish. Movement's been a little off here. Main reason I'm concerned about movement here is these ring cycles. In order to get them at the right time optimally, you gotta make sure you don't mess around too much. Nope, that's good. We didn't lose our ring cycles, and that's what I care about the most. Now what I do is, just because I've gotten extremely used to it, is I skip the bat transformation. The bat transformation in this game, I won't say it's broken, but it breaks a lot of things within this run, and it's like, but the problem is it costs you like 40 some odd seconds to get it, and it only saves you ultimately like 4 seconds in the air. Yeah, probably over 4 seconds over the way I run it now. So it's like, it's not worth the time unless I pick it up, so we'll just skip it. And right now, Shantae's gonna do a barrel roll. Unfortunately, this is the auto-scroller I spoiled about a minute ago. The main things I'm gonna point out right now is that I'm out for these gems, and I want these oranges. And missing one, although not detrimental, can be painful, so I want to make sure I get all 5 that are in the stage, because if I don't get, like, one orange can make the ultimate difference to this run. So I want to make sure I get all 5. At any rate, as I was talking about version differences, so the current version that's out there today is 1.01. They did a patch where they released a hard mode, which is actually legitimately hard. But with that patch, they kind of ruined this particular category, because we will be doing some glitching through things later. Right now, the routes between glitchless and this category line up almost exactly the same until we get to the revisit to a future stage. So we want to make sure we're still able to do this glitches. So what I have to do is run the game on 1.0, and even though I'm doing this on Steam, I can still be able to do that with a little bit of I won't say trickery, but Steam believes that I'm on the current patch, so it doesn't try to force me an update, and that's fine. Well, Dandy and I get to run this extremely fun category. Alright, so we got past that. Coming up to the best boss in the entire game, Giga Waifu. So we were here to investigate why mermaids were attacking people. I think we just found our problem. Looks like their queen's in a bit of trouble. And my main thing right now is keeping up with platform cycles. So this is actually really bad because I missed that platform. So now I'm going to take this a little slower just so I don't drop twice. Ideally, I would have wanted to break those two before coming down here and getting that one, but it's okay. I still beat her before the second one going on, so it's not bad. And yes, that bra that she's wearing is only being held up by the hopes and dreams of the ESRB, so bow down. Whoa, this is actually decent RNG for once. All my practice over the last week or so has been bad RNG from her. She actually treated me pretty good this time, so... Obviously, you beat Giga Waifu by jumping into that cleavage just to get a bounce up so you can hit that gem on her forehead. Techno Baron can stop selling girls as fake mermaids for food. And all the mermaids can be happy. She's much better when she's not angry, I have to admit. For all of our troubles, we get a case of the crabs. I mean, we get crab transformation. Oh, my bad. So we will now hop out of here. Good old crab. And crab's probably one of the more satisfying movement ones just because there's a lot of tech that goes with the crabs. She's much better when she's happy. Happy waifu, happy laifu, man. Happy waifu, happy laifu. Alright, so we hear that the mayor is coming back to town, but we gotta get ready for that. And how we get ready for that is we go swindle a little girl. I'll trade her the salted caramel for some birdseed. But we don't really care for birdseed much. This guy looks like he might want it. The problem is that little parrot right there just pooped out that giant egg. Literally. I mean, that's exactly what happened in the story, so... Can't make this stuff up. At any rate, I need to do a little bit of shopping. Fortunately, I didn't buy shampoo, because that would have been almost a run killer. Still haven't seen that mayor, and we're still hopping mad about being fired, by the way, so... Maybe he's checked in with our good pal, Mimic. While we're here, we'll go ahead and give him this copper ore, because he's asking so nicely. And the machine gets a little bit more complicated. Now, where's that mayor? I'm still hopping mad. I'm still extremely mad about being fired. Now, hopefully I get Mayor Tickle Chin here. That is not Mayor Super... Nope. Oh well. I screwed up the buttons to get Tickle Chin. That pose is just high enough where she kind of rubs the mayor's chin and doesn't walk back. That would have been the preferred thing to have happen there, but that's fine. Sky's a little upset that I didn't get Mayor Tickle Chin. She's just completely dumbfounded. That look says it all. So we tried. Alright, so off to Dry Desert. I mean, wait a minute, this isn't Mario Kart 8. Shit. My bad. Yeah. Doo-doo-doo.
I'm ready. Transform!
Monkeys and deserts go along just fine, it's fine. Main thing that I need Monkey and that bullet for was really this stage. Like, getting those two items... I won't say trivializes it, because obviously in the speedrun sense, this game, or this particular stage gets to be one of your biggest nightmares. You'll see why shortly. The main thing I need it for, though, is just to make this actually trivial in the overall scheme and scope. So we just have to try to make higher jumps to get up these sand pits, which are horrible. Obviously, we need a crab to be able to get here, because otherwise you run into a brick wall back the other way. So we're going to take the low road. Shantae will be a bit wet, but not the way that we like her. Alright. And now the fun begins. So I've got to concentrate just a bit here. These cycles are not exactly easy. And what I'm trying to do is get through it with about 4 wind gusts. So we just have to get through this as quickly as possible. I'm a little off, but not by much. I think we can make this work, as long as I don't take this jump. Okay, we're good. That was the one I was worried about. That's the one that's been failing me in practice, is making that cycle right there. Down. Wait for it. Landing on that big guy right there is 4 points of damage. That's one entire heart, and you don't want to see that because I need to preserve those oranges as long as I possibly can. Wait! Speaking of almost taking 4 points of damage, we're good though. Alright, so that was not perfectly ideal. You could actually do that with one wind cycle less. I have not gotten good at it, so I decided to take that just, you know, just safe enough to get through as quickly. And any rate, so we come in here, and not only have we gotten crabs, now we've got a case of worms too. I tell you, man, things are just not going our way this time around. Problem is, this worm wants to eat us, and we really are just not in the mood today, so we're going to try to get up this tower as quickly as possible. For you achievement hunters out there, this is how you do it. Well, except for that part was a little slow, but it's fine. Oh my god, she is skipping gems left and right. And we've already screwed up early fireball cycles, so we'll let that one go. Little optimized movement tech there. If you can get up that without bonking pretty well and pretty much getting right where you need to go, you can actually get in that before that second thing of fireballs, which is freaking phenomenal when it happens. By the way, hello, I do not want to take 3 points of damage. Go away, buddy. Alright. Alright, so now that we've avoided damage, didn't quite hit that the way I wanted to, so yeah, I was going to eat 2 points and I'm not happy about it. Any rate, that's how you ascend a tower at least halfway decently. I'm not going to complain. At least we didn't fall. And now we come to Skybridge. Every speedrunner's nightmare. This is pretty much run killer number one for anyone trying to get an extremely good time. And that's because these cycles are very tight. Like that jump right there is pretty much frame perfect. And then you just don't want to fall. You start falling, you start losing time because it basically kicks you all the way back to the beginning. And hopefully we won't have that happen, so we get to show you checkpoint glitch. This checkpoint glitch sucks. So far, so good, Skybridge. Okay, that's dangerous. I'm not going to mess around. One of the main reasons I have those oranges for the run is because of... Nice try. I didn't need the orange, but I didn't want to die. And Jerk Bird there, by the way, that's what we call that bird carrying the bomb. He nearly destroyed everything. In the meantime, this is one of my favorite tracks that's playing currently, so enjoy the news. Hopefully I'm still on cycle. This was a bad idea. Okay. I saved it? I didn't save it. Okay. Good, we didn't get checkpoint glitch. I was worried. We're fine. It's fine. That was just I knew I shouldn't have went for it. I thought I could clutch it out, and unfortunately I didn't. So we didn't lose a significant amount of time, but obviously that's not optimal. Go figure, taking a death in a speedrun being optimal! She's not carrying. Okay, bad speedrun is bad. Let's go. Come on. Take this easy. When I say these jumps are tight, I mean it. These jumps are extremely tight. Did I get checkpoint glitched? No, I don't think I did. I just got sent back to the beginning and we just basically fell at the end. Nope. Now we're going to wait it out because I'm not doing that a third time. Thank you. Alright, so that's what should have happened 2 times ago. Alright, so we just took very bad damage right before this boss. Fortunately, this boss is a cakewalk. Alright, so the lady we just traced down basically is our replacement Genie that was hired by Mare. She sucked this worm on us because she wants people dead, and this worm basically eats memories. How he does that, I'm not sure, but the way I like to explain the story and lore of this worm is he's lost his contact, and we need to help him find it. Oh, and he's going to give me bad RNG for my help. That's always great with this guy. The game we're playing with him is tennis. And by tennis, I mean, okay, the ball that lands on my side means I get a point. If the ball lands on the far end of the map, like it just did on that particular one, he gets a point. So I'm down 0, like, love 15 right now for those people who play tennis. And I just got trolled because the fireball decided it wanted to wear out early. So I'm going to switch sides here and see if I can get his RNG to be a little bit better. In the meantime, he keeps telling me he still lost his contact. I'm still looking for it. crawl strats OP, please nerf. No, don't nerf, because that pose. Alright, I made the right call switching sides at least. I mean, again, this guy's pure RNG. It just makes me feel better that when flipping sides, it put the ball on my side. But sometimes you guess right. It's really a 50-50 shot. There are some alternate strats that others have developed using the Storm Puff that you can potentially make that eyeball segment just a little bit faster. I've never been a big fan of it because I've seen it not work as well as people would like it to, just because the iframes on that eyeball last for freaking ever. So Storm Puff doesn't always get it done. Alright, so we've got ourselves a match. I'm down 1-2, or 15-30 for you tennis buffs. But Shantae's going to continue to bring boom. By the way, that jump that I'm doing at the cannon is like a 2-frame window. It doesn't do anything. It just looks swag. A slow motion jump. Normally she would just stand there and kind of do her little dance back and forth as the ball is coming in. I just like adding a little bit of flair to things, so. My one complaint with this boss, he's one phase too long. He could really be one phase shorter and still be a perfectly fine boss, but instead, you get to waste time. Okay, so he just kicked my ass in that one. I lose 15-40. And you're wondering, how does that work? Well, if you don't know tennis, I'm sorry. Oh, and I messed the cannon jump. Alright, so I lose a bit of time for that, but I'm bringing the boom anyway. Wilbur freaking sucks. No, headbanging isn't faster. I just like doing the actual spamming. It's just a way to fill boredom in that fight specifically because you have to wait so long for things to happen. So I just kind of mess around until that is a different thing. I used to do it to the music. Like I duck to the music. You tend to do a lot of things to the music in this game. Alright, we get our next transformation, the elephant. We'll have Mutual of Omaha's Animal Kingdom moment here in a minute. In fact, we'll do it right away. Why not? Well, why even delay? There's a fun fact about elephants you never know, but it's better to show you than to tell you up front. I am not talking to you, NPC. Oh my god. Get out of the way. Let's go. Alright. So, rather than doing little side stuff in town, we're just going to head right back out. We've pretty much got everything we need. We're going to do a quick sequence break. And we got to do a revisit in order to basically get progression to go. So, the sequence break we'll do first because, as I say, I don't want to make you guys wait. You guys have got to know the important thing about what elephants can do that you just never thought possible. Wow, I'm surprised I collected those gems. That's a shocker. Jerkbird! Goodbye, Jerkbird. You're thinking, wow, you've already done this stage, and I'm being trolled by my magic not triggering again. Alright, well, I'm not going to sit there and take a ton of damage waiting for things to happen properly. Alright, so fun thing about elephants, they can clip through walls. Bet you didn't know that. They can clip through walls when they fall into a sand pit. The more you know. This allows me to grab the iron slab there, which is a... No, I actually did want to work their game, thank you. So that allows me to basically grab that item. That's a way late game item that you would come back with normally with Mermaid, Mermaid Bubble. Well, we're not getting Mermaid, and we're not getting Mermaid Bubble in this game. That's just too slow. So we can just get it early. The other thing elephants can do is stomp, but I think we all knew that from Risky's Revenge. Well, kinda. The stomping was a little different in Risky's Revenge, but not much. Alright, so we come back to the tower here. Why are we coming back to this tower? Well, unfortunately, we do still need to find some items for progression. So we're going to do that now. And what we do is we come across this grave robber, at least we acclaim him to be a grave robber. He swears to God he's just an archaeologist, and he's basically here to study remains. But then tasks us to do all of his dirty work, literally. So we're now going to help him. So we got to climb up this tower, and now using our newfound powers, have the ability to check out these little side pockets to get what we're looking for. Now, a lot of people like this music track, I'll be honest with you. It's okay, it's not my favorite. Definitely not my favorite. Okay, that was not optimal, but whatever. And then my muscle memory kicked in going, okay, you've done that. Alright, there we go. It's an okay track, but not my favorite. I believe I owe you a story about 1.0 versus 1.01. Can't remember if I mentioned it, but at any rate, this particular speed run, as you see it now, with the elephant clip still works. Some of the clips you'll be seeing in just a bit, like as it picks up steam here, those were all patched out with 1.01. When they gave us hardcore mode, they taketh away all the fun stuff. This was a big detriment to the 100% runners, by the way. The 100% runners basically just lost their entire speed run with that patch, just because it just destroyed everything, sadly. So that's again why running 1.0 is the preferred way to do it. Steam is the easiest way to do it. You can do it on console if you've got a physical copy, but I'll tell you and warn you right up front, physical copy is extremely slow. So if you are interested in the run, just some things to be very aware of on how you do it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have not missed anything here. Just want these gems for a little bit of extra safety. Oh, and snake beats elephant, by the way. If I got hit by that snake as I crossed there, I'd have dropped like a rock. Don't want that. Alright, we got all of our remains for this guy. And we're gonna go ahead and do, here, we did your dirty work. Here you go. What does he get us? He gets us sick. And I love that item collection. You got sick. Thanks, bro. So now we got a case of the stipples, we got a case of the crabs. I mean, geez, what? Shantae's just having a bad day. Let's just come out and say it. Shantae's just having a bad day. Can't have that now. Alright, so we're going to do our last bit of warp dance, and you're going to see goodbye to warp dance on this one. We just don't care about going back through. There's nothing that we need through that particular part. So we'll go ahead and return back to the factory. And we got some things to do here. So just like the first time, the ring cycles are important. Almost transformed too early. Try to get these as early as possible so you're not waiting around for the next cycle, really is what you want to do. Wow, this guy's trolling me a bit. Alright, I just needed those 2 stakes for 1. That's for a little bit later. You have the option of getting these right at the and call it good. Alright, so the movement tech that we're going to talk about with this little guy right here. You see these 2 blocks of seaweed? Ideally, I would, if I'd have gotten it right, and I'll hopefully show you on the last one, there's a little technique where you jump and then clip at the same time with your newfound clipping ability, where she just pounds right through those. So normally you would get the pause, it looked very casual, kind of like that last one I do. This is early. Okay, still got it. We'll try to show it here. It's just satisfying because she doesn't stop. Like every time you clip, she stops. And what you just saw me do through that was basically be able to use this jump and clip technique, which allowed her to move basically like butter through those particular blocks. There's a little extra bit of a jump that you can do. They call it the pincer jump, I believe, or claw jump, something like that. And even though I've never been able to pull it off, could save you just a little bit of time here instead of going up platforms. Oh gosh, that's bad. Nah, okay, we're fine. You'd be able to just basically go right up the wall. It's how the early skip towards the end of the game we call the Holy Crab was found, where we could get up to the loading zone to get into the final little bit of the game to go and complete it without getting mermaids, so saving time. And that Holy Crab technique was kind of the way to go for a long time, until some other methods were found that were a little bit easier, not to mention consistent. And I am not going to die here, so we're going to take an orange. We don't want to die. Dying is bad. Even though we save every screen, it just loses time because it puts you right back before that. So we basically helped out Grandmama Blobfish. She lost her kids, couldn't be bothered to find them herself, so we had to go do the work. Basically, this is more Shantae does everybody's freaking dirty laundry. Oh, lost kids? No problem. I do not want to buy those potions right now. I want a Dryad Dance, and I want to trade in Warp Bands for Gem Gem, and we're done. Sorry, I took that menu extremely careful, because buying potions there could have been a really big problem. Whew. Alrighty. Alright, so we are done doing sidetracking. We need to move on with the story, right? We need new bosses, need new music. We're tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over again, so let's do that. Or, no, got a little bit more sidetracking to do. Hello, twin waifus. Yes. So, Gator Stakes, obviously, was to get these two to give us this race ticket. We got the first race ticket from Grandma Blobfish. Ta-da! Roddy Tops likes racing. She gives us a shard of dark magic. And Shantae's like, why the hell do you have some dark magic? Well, I don't know. Let's just offload this as quickly as possible. Uncle Mimic, help me. He's asking if we're worried about it. We go, okay, no, you know what? We trust him. So now he's got a black light bulb on the top of his little machine. So it seems like he's getting ready to throw a rave, in my opinion. I think we're gonna have a little rave party. He gives us the map for our hard work, and we can finally move on to the island that's been there the entire time. So I'm not sure why the bird decided, hey, let's not go check that out later. Oh, it's because the races hadn't started yet. So this is another, in effect, auto-scroller, but it's kind of a fun one. You can do a lot of fun things with it. But mainly you're waiting. And what I'm really hoping to get out of this, other than hearts right now, because I am hurting a little bit on health and I really don't want to use another orange, would be just money. I also did a bad. So, you know what? My usuals didn't yell at me. I'm going to back out for a second because rather than go through this entire run, or go through that entire stage, get to the end and realize I'm hosed, I'm going to lose the time there. It's not so much that I forgot to route, I just forgot to do one thing in the route, which was an important thing, called shopping. Sorry. Girl needs to shop. I need that scimitar. That's important. I'm going to buy 2 potions while I'm at it. Just because we're going to be a little safe with this run now that I've really made a mistake. And I'm just going to do this so I don't have to worry about health anymore. Alright. Apologies for the delay, people. We will get back to our regularly scheduled speed run in about 15 seconds. Rip. At least we don't have to go through story again, but we still have to do the auto-scroller. Yeah, I looked at my gem count and went, I am not supposed to have that many gems right now, so... Alright, so time loss was real there. Obviously, that's a reset anytime you do it. But I'd much rather have Scimitar. I would have gotten to the end here and been like, I am doing no damage, or very little damage, to our mid-boss, and we don't want that. No, we do not. Alright, so let's do this proper now. It's one of my favorite tracks of the game. It's just a little too fun. Alright, so we basically we got an inside tip from somebody who works here that basically there's some bad things going on. And what's happening is people are stealing magic carpets. So we gotta investigate that. Now, we're not exactly interrogating these particular racers as much as basically robbing them blind, which is totally fine by me. But we're basically just trying to get to the bottom of why. Why are people losing their stuff? But hey, if we're here to win a race, we may as well do it right? We're gonna... Oh, you hate seeing gems fall. You hate watching gems just go to their death. It's fine. I almost got enough for another potion. That's what we care about. Bring the original dubstep mix and run. How about a... I mean, I think dubstep makes me feel that way, right? Alright, so my biggest worry right now is health, but I am going to take some intentional damage here just to get a little bit more out, especially since my heart counts are extremely low right now. I probably am going to take a side track in a minute. Okay, we got a really good pattern with twin waifus there. I am going to take an extra timeout to grab an extra heart here since we haven't had any good RNG. I know, how do we fight Twitch? How do we fight Twitch? I know. And I've got to be extremely careful here, so I'm going to take one extra heal, because these guys dish out a huge amount of damage if you touch them. One entire heart go bye-bye if you touch one of these soldiers, so we're going to not waste any more time than we already did. Oh my gosh, she did not want to jump, and that trick would have been normally called Thread the Needle if RNG would have been permitting, but that was a waterfall. And I also forget where the heart container is here, so we may not be doing that sidetrack. Also, kind of got screwed on that too. Normally that guy doesn't show up. Don't shoot my butt. You almost shot my butt. And this is not the best cycle of lasers, but there's not really a lot you can do to manipulate it. And that is not a portal. I was thinking that was going to be a door. I think it's in here. Yeah, this is it. So I'm going to take a sidetrack here and just take a moment to get some much needed health, because by now I normally would have had 4 in a marathon run. I skipped the one on purpose in Burning Town because there's just no point. Why did I transfer? The damage warp is just quicker. Peekaboo. The other thing that does for me, other than the fact that I get a full heal here, is it probably makes Cap Crash Station, as I call it, a little bit more solid and safe. This stage is notorious for crashing in the 1.0 version. Fortunately, it didn't happen. We're good to go. But we call it Cape Crash Station instead of Crash Station for that reason. It just seems like the game has a little bit of problem dealing with the speed and pace that we tend to get through this particular stage, and just gives us issues. So fortunately we're good. Now I'm hoping for an RNG roast here just for a little extra safety. Doesn't appear that I'm going to get it. And now we're going to start doing some fun stuff with gem jumps. Bet you didn't know pots could go through walls. The gem jump clip is the one that pretty much opened this game wide open once it was discovered. Now, interesting things about the gem jump clip is, one, it only works on right-hand walls, so you can't do that on a left-hand wall. The other thing to remember is that, well, this is why I picked up a tree, so we can do left-hand walls. We'll show you that clip here relatively soon. Okay, see, that's how that works, Shantae. We've been having trouble with that in practice all week. All right. So yes, the way these clips basically work is the hitbox of Shantae changes, and when that hitbox changes, it moves into the wall, breaking the pixel structure. So a gem jug will expand it by 1 to the right, and all we have to do is just basically puncture it to the right by 1, and we're in. That's why elephant clipping works and things like that. There's a number of different transformations that you can do throughout the game. Mouse clipping, you'll see dryad clipping here shortly. Fortunately, it's one we only use like once in a real definitive sense, because it takes forever to set up, but I have a pretty good joke lined up for that whole dryad clip. I hope you'll enjoy it when we get to it. My guess is you won't because it's very bad punny humor, but it's not really punny humor unless you're a homeowner, and then you might get it and then probably think, hey, that's still not funny. But hey, enough suspense building. Alright, so right now we're going to take out Ammo Baron. So we find out, of course, he's the one behind stealing all of the magic carpets. Why? Because he wants an Air Force. Well, aside the fact that we just destroyed his Air Force, which, by the way, is an inside joke to themselves, Way Forward basically said, you just destroyed billions of dollars of crowd-funded money for that air fleet. In a heartbeat. And apparently spent the extra money on, standard issue heart boxers for his crew as well. So yeah, he decides he wants to knock off Street Fighter, become M. Bison, and we say, no, bad guy, you're using the wrong game. Get back where you belong, and then we move on. My favorite skip of the game coming up right here. F.U. Mouse. So down there in that chest is the mouse transformation. You see that little maze, that little blue line thing? Ideally, you're supposed to go down there, grab the mouse, go back up, and go through that little maze. The mouse. No thank you. Pass. We will just say, get out of here, and move on. Alright, so as you remember early on, we got sick. We need to do something about that. Well, what do you know? There's a handy-dandy doctor here. So we're going to give sickness to him. He's going to give us a lollipop for being such a great and wonderful patient. And what do we do with a lollipop? We're not exactly, into candy. I mean, look at these girlish figures. We cannot break our girlish figure with sweetness. So there's got to be somebody out there. Somebody who loves candy. And I'm not talking about the mayor, because we're not happy with the mayor. The mayor can go to hell. He still has us fired. Well, I guess technically... No, I think he's still... I can't remember if he's given us a job back after the whole Holly thing, but anyway. We gotta come back here. This is where we're going with this said lollipop. So things have changed here, obviously. They say when you revisit stages, you get to see a little bit different formatting. Man, I'm on point with that monkey bullet today. I am not gonna complain. Let's go. I'm not making early cycle, unfortunately, because that's a little sloppy, but alright. Tree jokes. You know how we get to the root of the problem? We go through it. Alright, let's go. Oh, wow, that jump juggle did not work. Thank you. And I jumped way too far away. Anyway, so we got a lollipop. This guy looks like he likes candy. Here, you take it. Oh, he gives us a pretty diamond. No, we're not marrying you. Goodbye. Alright, so that was just it. It was basically a fetch quest. We turn in that lollipop, we give it to that guy. He's like, oh, okay, cool, here, you can have this light shard. So now we gotta power up, well, not really powering up, we just gotta add the next piece to Uncle Mimic's Rave machine. We got a black light, we got a regular light for probably strobing. He's like getting ready to have this rave just go completely on. I'm gonna do one extra bit of shopping. I just want a few extra safety potions for this run because the final boss can be a real pain in the ass when he wants to be. We're not going there yet, but I want to be prepared and I really don't want to spend the rest of this game farming gems, so we should be done shopping at this point. So at any rate, for our troubles of getting the light shard, as usual, Mimic gives us toilet paper, a map, and Roddy seemed interested in this one, and that's because her brothers and her are now looking into getting into real estate. They found this abandoned mansion, and they're here to investigate it. So, let's check it out.
Let's go.
Well, what we can see of it.
Farm.
Okay, I really didn't need to do that monkey bullet there. It was probably a little slow, that's fine. This is the hardest clip in the game, by the way. There's like a small window to get the upper loading zone versus the lower one. If you miss it, you basically go to the lower part where you were intended to go through that door, and it just loses time. I'm gonna pickpocket this hamster, because why the hell not? And now for the home ownership joke. We all know that trees are bad for foundations and houses and stuff like that. Well, unfortunately, that process takes time. And in this case, for us, it takes 4 transformations to be able to get through there. It's just because it moves at such a small rate to be able to break the barrier of the wall that you have to do that transformation a few times in order to actually get through it. But at any rate, okay, we scoped out that house. We don't really care. I got a hamster out of the deal. And a zombie one at that. Not just any hamster, a zombie hamster. Alright, so welcome to Graveyard. Literally, the graveyard of all runs because of silly things like that. And you know what? I am not going to try the new strats that I've been working on. In an optimal speed run. Unfortunately, I'm still not good enough at it, although I did give it the college try, and it will be my next thing to develop to get my times a little bit better. And if I can do Monkey Bullet Graveyard, then look out, Skate. Sorry, man. Gunning for those times, bro. Also introduces these huge spider chicks. They're very cute. They're also very painful. If I'm not mistaken, in the current, right now, I think they deal out a good whopping 8 points of damage. Nice try, Z-Fresh. That doesn't work here. Oh god, I did that way too early. So I believe this will be our second Let's Play that we're uploading to YouTube, right? Yeah, we've got the earlier run that was going on. Now we got my graveyard. The graveyard is total cash. Okay, well, I found out the hard way. It's 1 full heart. Let's go. Alright, so we screwed up that graveyard on a monumental basis. At any rate, the big thing, the reason we're here is because a creature of unspeakable horror is being summoned. Well, that creature is everybody's favorite boss. Squid Baron, and he's still got the same old recycled moves. That was okay. I missed out on some damage there. No biggie. So we got to beat up on our good old pal Squid Baron, everybody's favorite guy. He's got a little bit of a makeover. Looks a little fat. And how did I get turned around like that? That was weird. At any rate, not a great fight to start with. Taking a lot of damage here. It's actually really bad first phase. We beat him up, and then Wonder Twin powers activate. So let's do it. Wonder Twin powers activate. Now we have to fight these two guys who are basically our main bosses through Risky's Revenge at the same time. And they're going to troll me with that RNG right out of the gate. Okay, that's a little better. We're off to a rough start, but they brought it back for me a little bit. Oh, now we got a really bad problem. Alright. Let's go, Troll Barons. This is actually pretty trolly pattern. This is probably the worst pattern I could have gotten. Only in a freaking actual speed run when they've been really treating me well in practice all week. Can take 1 hit. None if I take that green fire. You want to stay out of the pool of that green fire because it knocks you for 6. Heart and a half of damage. Okay, that wasn't terrible. I've had worse fights. Anyway, as you'll notice and probably have seen since we picked it up, Scimitar is OP as hell. The thing whips out incredible amounts of damage, but one interesting thing you'll note is that when your target that you're damaging and you're running left at it, will do more damage than if you're running right at it. It's weird the way the rotation works versus the way the hitbox sprites are, but it's a fact of life. It acts more like a buzzsaw when you're heading to the left, and more like, you know, a pickaxe occasional hit here and there as you're heading to the right. It's an interesting dynamic, but something to be very aware of. Alright. So we get Harpy, which is the absolute horrible transformation of not only this particular game, but the very first Game Boy Color Shantae. The thing controls exactly the same. By the way, I'm just going to do this really quick because, you know, this is normally we had gone back, we've done this, you've done that. With everything done proper, we already grabbed all this along our way in the adventure, so we're going to get a quick cameo from our Risky's Revenge boss from the last Degen brush. Degen Dash when I ran Risky's Revenge. Quick cameo shot, and then we gone. So, she always claims to be the most important character of the game, and I tell her just get the hell out of here because we don't have nothing to do with it. And we don't. So let's move on. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment of silence here to get started. Let me just quickly preface what I'm doing. This is the hugest skip in the game. We're skipping at about 2 minute approximately, I think, or like a minute and 45 auto scroller here, but I have to hear everything because this is totally out of bounds. You can't see what's going on, and it's all based on audio cues. I screwed up already. There, that should be good. Did we get it? I'm not sure. That didn't quite sound right. I may have missed the loading zone in the far. Nope, we got it. Okay. So what I just basically did is I swam over the auto scroller section entirely. We went out of bounds. I flew up to the top of the screen. We get into the top of the section where it doesn't load it, and we swim over the entire thing. Now, the timing on that was extremely specific, so I had to count 46 bloops from when I got into the actual water. And that's why I needed the silences, so I didn't lose track of that. At any rate, so what we just did was we skipped an entire auto-scroller that WayForward keeps trying to stick on us, and we just don't want any part of. They did it to us in Risky's Revenge. We found a way to skip that. We just basically skipped it again in this particular game, and I'm sure they're not happy about it, but you know what? We're speedrunners. What we care? What do we care? And now we're on to the most hype part of hype music in the game for me. Yo, Harpy corner first try, let's go. That auto-scroller skip is why I set the estimate to where I did. Getting that first try means we're easily going to gain estimate as long as nothing super terribly bad happens on the final boss. Knock on wood, knock on wood. Let's go. So welcome to Risky's Hideout, the final boss or final area of the game. Obviously you'll get a ton of Tinkerbats because this is where they're housed. This is where they do their work. And the important part about this one is obviously there's a huge bit of cycles going on in both of these particular rooms. This particular one is probably the most important to maintain. So you can't lose your momentum or otherwise you're going to have to do a lot of waiting. And ideally what I want to get through is basically just make this entire whole part just look smooth as butter. And hope that Harpy 1 doesn't drop an input and send me in the lava. And now I'm off cycle. That death is really horrible. That's what I'm talking about, dropping an input. Sometimes if you let her fall too much, she just won't take your flap and you're just going to keep diving right into the thing you don't want. So now we're going to have to take this a little bit more careful. I don't know the cycle, where before I could just move through this pretty easily. Wow, that trolley shot just following me across the entire freaking stage. Come on now. Wow. And the other thing Harpy likes to do is hook on corners for some reason. Why am I going that way? Let's go. It is possible. I've seen one runner do it to get through that particular part as Harpy. No thank you. I will pass. Let's go. But yeah, my cycle is completely off here. Maybe with that goof up, we're back on it. I'm not going to chance it, though. I think we're going to just take this nice and easy. It's just another day at summer camp. Let's go. Yeah, so you would hit this where you get right in there just before it closes to be able to make it for this other one. And head out. That last part with the 3 blocks, I just want to point out, console differences. In the 1.0 version of console, on any of the console versions, those 3 blocks don't move. They never did. The PC one was the only one that moved in 1.0. Obviously, they fixed that, and thank God we didn't get Blackout Risky. I thought I did, because I started mashing way early. At any rate, now we're back to beating up on Risky again. And anyone who's played the first Game Boy Color Shantae knows she can take a beating. Well, that remains true this time around, so... I will focus a bit, because taking one of these sword strikes is very painful. And we don't want that. Oh gosh, bad positioning. And I'm really just trying to get as much damage on her as I possibly can in order to make sure we kill her as fast as possible, because I believe, I won't say we've done the math per se, but I believe she's in the neighborhood of about 2,000 hit points. Somewhere in that area. So ideal thing that you just want to do is try to get some hits in when you can. What I'm really hoping for right now is that beautiful, beautiful green pot that just dropped. That saves me a use of a potion, because that should now give me enough magic to get through this particular part of the run. And I'm going to just be greedy, grab those hearts. But I am getting a little bit of a troll pattern from her, like she's being pretty trolly. Long jumps, you'd rather see her do short ones than long. And what I'd like to see her do is die shortly after this phase, but I don't think we've gotten enough hits in, so... She'll probably do it before her next 2 pistol shot. So after this... Oh, okay. Got her a little better than I was hoping. I wasn't too worried about the damage there and the fact that I get a free refill here. The game is generous enough, at least in 1.0, to give us a free refill. So we're gonna take that free refill and fight Tinkerbrain, Dynamo of Destruction. This is what Uncle Mimic's Rave Machine is turned into. Oh, that's bad. Mother Brain! And anyone who remembers the old Captain N cartoon probably is hearing the same voice in their head when they look at that as I do. It's my coming out party! Or however that Mother Brain was voice acted. It's pretty horrible, I just remember it. Mother Brain had some issues in Captain N, but, you know. Alright, wait this out. So this boss looks pretty damn terribly simple, right? Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously these jumps are a little precise. They're not terribly precise, but you can just basically avoid a lot of damage there. Alright, so there's the end of the first phase, and now we will move on to our... Oh, well, without pausing, please. Caught the 1 frame too early, I think. Now we get the last phase, so hopefully we won't get trolled here a bit. And I got trolled, so we will not be getting early cycle already. Oh wow, how did I avoid damage there? I'm not sure. I was just checking my inventory. 6 potions and a roast. We should be pretty solid here. And I think I saw a couple of oranges left. Alright, so I'm taking this a little bit casually, because this fight can get out of control on you very fast. And I've got to pay attention to what's happening in the background as much as I do before. And I got that too early. Shite. Alright, so that's going to be a bit of a time waste. Because now the shield is super slow, I've got to wait for it to get back in position. Alright. So what's going on here basically is this machine was built to amplify or basically replace Shantae as protector. Like, Uncle Mimic was trying to basically keep the little girl safe by building a machine that can manipulate magic properly and all that stuff. Well, Risky, when she stole the plans, basically changed the blueprint so that this would be created more in her image. I'm going to go ahead and do this early. And so what it's basically doing is reversing the polarity of magic. So these genies are now dark genies. They kind of look like our Nega Shantae from earlier, right? So we're basically just pounding this thing into submission. Ooh, God, that was scary. Still got it. I was worried about losing him. I'm trying to keep things on a very specific cycle here because it just makes it easier, but the black waves can throw you off of that in a heartbeat. And I'm not using the fastest possible strats here, but I'm using basically the next best thing. So these are the mostly optimal, but not quite optimal strats that I'm utilizing. 10 hits later, this guy goes down, and oh my god, that hit me before the final hit. I'm glad I had more than 2 health. So we've taken this thing down, and because WayForward loves those speedrunners so much. So much. Oh, so much. We get to end the game on our favorite note. An auto-scroller. 1 minute and 20 seconds of splinter in the butt pain. Fortunately, this is not RNG. The gaps are not RNG. So once you learn the pattern for this and all of that, it's easy. Just pay attention. You take a fall, especially at the end, you lose 1 minute and 20 seconds. Just saying. It's just what it is. So we are gonna just get the hell out of Dodge. Of course, Risky is trying to take us down because we have defeated her evil plans yet again, and she's not happy about it. Don't miss that ring. Okay, phew, that was scary. I'm going to do my favorite jump here, called Swag Jump. If I miss it, well, I'm going to lose a little bit of time, but I believe I'm way ahead of estimate right now. But I never miss this jump because, you know, that's just too cool. I find that easier to do than the actual intended method. So that's why I do it mainly, is because I'm just so used to it. So many PB attempts failed. It's like, okay, do not miss that ring. Thank you. We are done as soon as the screen goes white. So right now, time.
Congrats, my dude. You got a 106. What was it? 106.52.
That's solid. I would have been happier with a 105, but a 106 isn't terrible. Especially since I goofed up a couple times, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. That herpes cycle near the end there.
Yeah, and the forgetting to go shopping before her station was bad too. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mash through these. I'm going to mash through these credits here really quick. One thing to note is that obviously I think we know what our next boss in the 5th installment will be, because Mimic is going to take a moment and tell us he's going to create us an 8-bit video game. So get ready for some retro action, everybody. Alright, and then that'll be it. Then we're going to speed run the credits. You don't even have to wait for it. If you want, you've got somebody ready to go, then we can go ahead and probably switch things here, because it's just fast forward credits and RNG picture of whatever it is for the speed run. So
For sure. We got Paper Aria coming up. We'll be playing some Kirby here, so we'll be right back, folks.
awesome, guys. See ya. Thanks for watching.
All the words I had to say.